Hello and welcome to episode 29 of Intruder, Theatre in the Making podcast. I'm your host Remi Rachuba and thank you so much for tuning in. Now, I've not recorded an episode for, I think, nearly eight months. The last one I recorded was in October, released in November. And really, I've not been releasing anything because I felt back in October, November that was really everything that I needed to record for the time being. I actually came back to episode 28 today in the morning, just to remind myself of actually what I spoke about because I didn't really remember. I was saying that the next episode would be around rehearsal time for Intruder in the summer, but I felt that recently there's been a couple of updates and developments that I would like to share with the listeners of the podcast. Now, before we move on and before I talk about it, just a couple of things for some of you. In the past, you might remember I recorded 4 bonus episodes. 2 of them were on crowdfunding and how you do it, and it was based on the crowdfunder for Intruder, where I raised more than £8,000, and also there were 2 episodes on my Arts Council England application, and I talk about what I wrote, etc. Now, the Arts Council England application now has a different format, so it's slightly different from what I am explaining in the episodes, but you can listen. I think certain questions are still the same. So these 4 bonus episodes, they were available on Apple Podcasts only, and now they are available to everyone. So if you are interested, you can check them out. So moving on to Intruder. So as I was saying, October, November, we were not really sure what was going to happen with Intruder. To be quite honest, we knew that potentially we would be interested in touring the play in the summer because we always felt that it's better to do in the summer when it's warm rather than cold and snowing somewhere, so not in the winter. But October, November, everything was still very unclear. And January came, and then we started thinking, okay, what could we do about Intruder Intros? And the initial idea was for us to actually rehearse it in June, tour it in July in England, and then presented at the Fringe in Edinburgh. That's what it was. So I started contacting the venues that I was in touch in 2020 when we were to do the tour, and it turned out that some of the venues don't exist anymore because they never got any government funding during the pandemic. Some of the venues are being refurbished. Some of the venues have different artistic directors that are not particularly maybe interested, or they've got a different ideas for the program for the venue, and certain venues were still planning or thinking, okay, what's going to happen. So I was just touching base with the venues in January just to see what's going to happen. So that was one thing, and the other thing was that I was just exploring presenting Intruder in Edinburgh at the Fringe. Now, I've always wanted to present Intruder at the Fringe because I always think that the piece belongs to Scotland. It should be presented there. I wanted always to premiere it in Scotland, but because I now live in England, we got money here, funding here, so I knew that, having a premiere in Scotland is virtually impossible. But it was somewhere on the agenda that potentially after the tour of England we can go and presented in Scotland as well, especially as I had the money from the crowdfunder. So that's what it was. Now, before we move on further, I can maybe talk a little bit about the Fringe, because I know there are people who are not really, they don't know much about theatre, who listen to the podcast, so I can just maybe break it down and describe a little bit and talk a little bit about the festival. So Edinburgh Fringe, the world's biggest arts festival, takes place in Edinburgh from the beginning of August till the end of August, around 3 weeks, maybe 3.5. And there is various shows that are going on at the festival. I think it's 24/7, to be quite honest. There are morning shows for children, for kids, lunchtime plays, early afternoon, stand-up comedy, even till midnight. I remember back in 2006 when I was doing a Fringe show with a company from America. I remember we went to see a play, a musical. I think it was at midnight. I actually fell asleep. I quite enjoyed it, but I was just so tired. So it was just all the time things are going on, and you have all sorts of things, plays, I think circus performers, physical theatre, everything. I think everyone will find something for themselves. It's crazy, it's busy, it's very exciting, vibrant. Now, everyone can say, if they are producing a show or their own show, everyone can say, oh, I'm going to the Fringe, because everyone can, if they've got a project or a play, they can say, oh, I'm actually performing at the Fringe, which is amazing. For example, they could rent some space somewhere and present it for 2 days, and that's it. And they can advertise it that, we're at the Fringe. Officially, what they say, this is what I know, I may be wrong, this kind of official stamp of approval is when your show is listed in the Edinburgh Fringe program, which is like a Bible, this book nearly, where all the shows are listed. So very often people say, oh, if you're in the program, that's proper official, that you're doing it at the Fringe. That's what they say. So different people, saying that you at the Fringe can mean various things to people, but I think just the love of performing and bringing people together, especially now, is the most exciting thing. Now, at Edinburgh Fringe, there was a couple of venues. One more thing. During the Fringe, around the same time, there was, I remember, a couple of festivals going on. There is also Edinburgh International Theatre Festival, so various international companies bring their work to the International Theatre Festival. I remember that there used to be Edinburgh Film Festival taking place. I think it's happening at a different time, but when I was at the Fringe 2005 and 6, all of these festivals were happening at the same time, which is really so many people in Edinburgh. When you are in Edinburgh, what happens is that very often, if not always, there are certain venues that present plays or performances. So, for example, there would be a venue is a place, like a building with various spaces, and theatre companies can rent it out and present their play or at a particular time. So I think you fill in an application form to be considered by the programming team, and then they select your play, and then it's part of that venue's program. So, for example, Assembly Rooms, Pleasance, Gilded Balloon. And two also well-known places are the Travers Theatre, and that's an iconic venue which presents new writing, so new plays, and also Summerhall. And Summerhall, I think they present new writing, but also very exciting theatre makers, like different things that normally I you wouldn't be able to see. This is what I can just recall when I was living in Scotland, and when I went to see a couple of things at Summerhall. So that's at least how I see it. But also an extremely renowned place. And for me, some of the best plays and projects I saw at Summerhall. Why am I mentioning these two venues, the Travers Theatre and Summerhall? Because it's going to be important for what I'm going now to talk about. So thinking of the Fringe, I was considering who could I be in touch, who could I contact, and the first port of call was the Travers Theatre team, programming team. Why? Because I have been emailing them regularly for about regularly every year. So last year and 2 years ago, and I always asked whether they would be interested in putting on Intruder intros. And so they always came back to me and always said, we don't particularly think that Intruder intros would be a good fit for us. And so I actually emailed them in January and I asked again whether we could have a conversation about presenting Intruder at the Travers. And that was on the 17th of January. I got an email from one of their team members who said, thank you for getting in touch. Intruder intros sounds like an interesting piece. It doesn't seem like it will be the right fit for our film festival program as we focus on premieres of new work, which wouldn't work with your touring plans, because as I was just saying, we wanted to rehearse it in June, tour it in July, and tour it in July and present it at the Fringe, so it wouldn't be the premiere. And so I was thinking, okay, fair enough. They did say, okay, they would feed it back to the programming team, but if they were interested, they will get in touch. But if not, that'll be it. So they should be back if interested over the next coming weeks. But nobody was in touch, to be quite honest. And interesting thing is that when they released their program, I actually saw it a couple of days ago because I was quite busy. It looks like they've not only programmed premieres, there are also plays that have been performed before. So with that in mind, I knew, Travers, the Travers is not, we're not going to do it at the Travers Theatre. So then, what is the other venue? And then, I don't know whether I was reading something or I don't really know what happened. But I saw the application the submission for Summerhall. And interestingly enough, I was in touch with Summerhall, I think 2017, 2018. I did submit my application to be considered for Fringe, I think 17 or 18, but we were not selected. Well, of course, maybe it was, they were right by not selecting us because I didn't have any funding at all at that time. I don't really know what I was thinking when I was filling in my application. So when I saw that application for Summerhall 2022, I was thinking, I don't really know, probably they're not really going to select us or program us because I had been to them before and they said no. And so recently, over the last couple of years, I hadn't been in touch. I hadn't been emailing them, unlike the Travers, who I have been emailing every year, kind of just to keep in touch. But because I had been unsuccessful with Summerhall in the past, I thought, I don't know. They've always, when I emailed them, they were always very nice, the Summerhall team. But, it wasn't probably the best place and time to present it. So when I was filling in my application, it was quite straightforward because I already had an application from a couple of years before on Eventotron. I even had it, I think, on Gmail Drive. So it was just a matter of updating my application and, writing extra things, because over these years, extra things happened. So I emailed Tom, lovely Tom from Summerhall, and he emailed me back, and that was on the 1st of February. And he said that, literally, I'm reading it now, the program is getting busy, and the added pressure of still rolling over shows confirmed for 2020, so I wouldn't leave it too long. So I thought, okay, fair enough, we need to submit it, and then I filled in my application, giving all the details, and that was it. And then I'm just looking at the dates up here, and then the next email I got from Summerhall program was on the 18th of February, so about 2 weeks after that email I got from Tom. And the email said, based on this application, I am writing to confirm that we would definitely be interested in presenting your work as part of our Fringe program. While this is not yet an offer, we would certainly like to solidify conversations about getting your work booked in with us. And then when I got that email, I could not believe it. I mean, really, even now, I'm speechless thinking about it when I got that email. Because for me, as I was saying before, Summerhall is this iconic venue that has the best projects and plays that I saw at the Fringe. I always remember, for example, seeing Hotel Medea. I think it was 2012, a Brazilian company. It was a site-specific project. It started at midnight and then finished at 5 a.m. in the morning. And we went around certain rooms to experience it. And I remember we started at the wedding. It was like a proper wedding. It was like a club disco. And then it moved. And then we were at the funeral. It was something I've not seen. It was just exquisite. It was just beyond belief. Hotel Medea. I went to see it with a very good friend of mine from my year at drama school, Amy Conway, and we had a ball. It was great. So some of the best plays and projects I saw at Summerhall, and all of a sudden I got that email. I really couldn't believe it. That was just beyond belief. And the next thing that happened was a Zoom call with Summerhall, with Verity, who I think she doesn't work there anymore. She left the job and is now, she left for another job, and Tom is still there, lovely Tom. And we were preparing for a Zoom just to have a chat about the project. Now, it's very interesting because when I got that email about the Zoom, I was thinking, wow, here we go. Probably it's like one of these Zooms where you pitch your project. I need to talk about it. So I was preparing, like, okay, what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to have this, and I'm going to talk about that, and here and that, this whole presentation. And we went to the Zoom. It was me, Ed, my co-producer, and Verity. And Verity first asked Remi, how long is your show? You said 80 minutes. Could it be shorter? And then we said, yeah, it could be maybe shorter, 70 minutes. So that was one thing. And then the next thing, we talked about what time we could present it, whether it could be midday or maybe in the afternoon. And we were just exploring different things. And then, they were still going to confirm the times, but that was a conversation that we had. And I was then still waiting for that question, like, okay, here we go. The question, Remi, can you tell us something about the project? But that question never came. And literally after about 15 minutes, that was the end of the Zoom. And I was just thinking, oh my God, is it the end of the Zoom? Is it like, well, we're gonna, we just basically talked about two things, and that was really it. But of course, I then thought, well, it makes sense. They have so many different Zooms and so many conversations that they don't have time to be, talking about a project which they have already read about because they know it. Maybe it's just about certain things, bits and bobs, and just clarifying certain things. And so that was at Zoom, and then I'm just kind of looking at them and at these emails. And then it was around, the beginning of March, where, the beginning of March, we got an email, I think it was 9th of March, saying, we are delighted to be taking the next step towards confirming your show as part of Summerhall's Edinburgh Festival Fringe 2022 program. And we had all the details, which I'm going to share with you in a couple of minutes. So exciting, very exciting news. At the end of the email, there was info saying program embargo. We plan to announce the full Summerhall Festival program and go on sale in May. Please do not publicize your performances on your website through your mailing lists until the full program is revealed. So from that time, and that is the 9th of March till around when the 5th of May, because that's when the program was launched, we were not allowed to actually discuss the project with anyone publicly. Of course, I told my friends and family. Everyone knew because it was just so exciting. I mean, I still can't believe it. But for 2 months, that was it. You don't tell anyone about what's going to happen. And when we got that email, quite a few things have happened, and I'm just going to talk about it in a moment. One of the things was that, you know what, it's interesting because when you are, I'm just thinking, writer, performer, but when you also produce or co-produce your project, like it's in my case, you are part of these conversations. So it's not like when you're an actor and your agent tells you that a casting director, got information from the production, and there are so many people in between who pass on the information. Here you are talking to various places or various people directly. And I absolutely loved it. You do the Zoom with them, you are in direct contact, which I absolutely loved about this whole process. And they've been very, very kind to me, and they do an amazing job. I mean, as I was saying, Verity is not there anymore, but Tom and Ollie and the rest of the team are really doing a stellar job, and I've told them about it because for me, it's incredible, and I really would like to thank everyone for their help so far. It's beyond belief. Now, the other thing that happened was, because all of a sudden we are having this conversation that we are going to Summerhall, our plans regarding Intruder needed to change. So then I was thinking, you know what? Okay, so we're going to rehearse it in June, tour it in England in July, and then present it at Summerhall in August. What about if we actually tour it in England after the festival? Why can't we do it? And that's what I thought. I thought, it would be my dream come true. This is what I've always wanted to do. Premiering it at the Fringe. Why can't we do it? And then I said, well, why not? Let's do it. I want to do it. If it's possible, it'll be great. And it's interesting because I was even reflecting on it today that at some point, as I was saying before, I gave up on this idea that we would ever premiere it at the Fringe. I always knew that potentially we would do it at the Fringe, but not premiere it. And then all of a sudden, it's possible. Like the pandemic happened, all these terrible things, and that because of that, I am able to actually go to Summerhall and premiere Intruder there on the 4th of August. I mean, I can't even believe it. And it's interesting because Intruder in Truth is about making your dreams come true. That's one of the themes in the play. And then all of a sudden, I'm now going to the Fringe and premiering it at Summerhall, which is another dream of mine come true. I'm speechless. I really don't know what to say. But when I reflect on it, I always think, that the universe has a different plan for us, and let's be, let's accept it as it is. And I'm very, very grateful that things have turned out the way they have. And yeah, so that's another thing, going to the Fringe. And also in between, as I was saying, March and May, we really needed to do certain things. As I was saying, Summerhall team, extremely helpful. They still email us, and they were emailing us things about certain deadlines. So like, okay, by this time, if you could provide us with, for example, online copy, or 50-word copy for the brochure, or 100-word copy for the program. So we had these deadlines, and we needed to submit certain things. As I was saying, we had these things from 2 years ago, so it was just a matter of tweaking certain things, like changing this and that. The poster was ready. What we also came up with was that in our, you might have seen it, or you will be able to see it when you go to Summerhall website for Intruder Intrudes or at Fringe, you'll be able to see that there was a paragraph in Polish, because Intruder Intrudes is a bilingual English-Polish solo play, and we'll be also doing 3 performances in Polish. But there was one paragraph, 2 or 3 sentences in Polish, and Tom from Summerhall, he was saying, yeah, maybe that would be a great idea. Maybe it's kind of like a bow towards Polish audiences, which I thought, yeah, why not? Why don't we have something in Polish? That would be amazing. So it's also there. So Summerhall team was emails us still, and between March and May, all these deadlines that we needed to meet, and payments. Now, as I was saying, I've done my crowdfunder, so that was quite straightforward, and brochure and things like that. And then on the 5th of May, the program was released. Also, the team posted me a hard copy of the program, which I received literally. I was going on holiday to a little break to Prague and Vienna, and I packed my bags, I locked my door, and here it is. The program came through the mailbox. It was just surreal. Yeah, we also have now 2 trailers, English trailer and Polish trailer, which we actually shot in 2020 during the first week of rehearsals. English trailer, most of the team speak English, and we have English subtitles. And then we have a Polish trailer where me and Basia, we speak Polish, and Marcus and Charles in English, but we have also Polish subtitles on it. I always make sure that there are subtitles, because I find myself watching something on the tube or on the bus, and then I like to read it, as I wouldn't be playing audio. So that's why subtitles are important to me. And that was already on the 5th of May. The English trailer went live, and then a couple of weeks later, a Polish trailer went live as well. And it's on YouTube. All the info about the play you can get on social media, Intruder Play, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or on our website, intruderplay.com. Interesting trivia, maybe to someone, I am not sure, maybe it will be useful. When we did the trailer, we put the trailer on YouTube. Marcus, the director, he edited the trailer. For me, it looks amazing. This is what we always wanted. We put it on YouTube, and then YouTube creates subtitles for you. But then what I noticed was that when you embed the YouTube site somewhere else, you can't really see subtitles. So then, we didn't know how to fix it, and Summerhall team, they didn't know how, what to do with it. And then I did a little bit of research, and then I found out that in the setting on YouTube, in that video, you need to put a little bit of a tag. I don't remember what it was, but it's something to do with that. And then once I put that tag under that video, it subtitles show on other websites, but websites that embed that link from YouTube. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is that I also wanted to have social media copies of the trailer. So I thought, it's going to be quite straightforward to download that video from YouTube and the subtitles will be there. Well, I'm not really sure whether it's my lack of knowledge or maybe I didn't do enough research, but I could never find any info on how to download a YouTube video with subtitles, or whether it's even possible. What I found out was it's not possible. So then I needed to download that video, and then I found, let me just check that app. It's called Veed. The website is Veed, VEED.io. Which creates subtitles for different social media trailers or something. Well, I needed to do it manually, but I really wanted to have like a Twitter trailer with subtitles and Instagram trailer with subtitles, and that's what I found out, that this website does that. And once that was done, that was really everything that we needed to cover in May. Then I went away, as I was saying, to Prague and Vienna for a little break. But I came back and I got COVID. So for about 10 days, I was at home in bed, getting well. It wasn't. It didn't have a very big impact on me, but I felt tired, so I didn't work. One of the good things about me staying at home around that time was that I had time to send all the press releases to various people. I think I sent around 60 press releases to various journalists. And yes, that was done while I had COVID. I haven't heard from anyone yet, only from Lynn Gardner. She emailed me actually a couple of days ago and said that thank you for the information, and if she can, she would do her best to come and see and cover the show. So that was May and June, and now it's the 12th of June, Sunday. Where are we? Most of the things are done. To be quite honest, it's just little bits here and there, discussing the project with just various people, like talking about the tour in September, October. I can't really talk much about it because we don't know yet. But as I was saying before, what's going to happen in August at Summerhall and how it's all going to go. So we are rehearsing Intruder in London from the 11th of July till I think 29th or 30th of July. Then on the 1st of August we're going to Edinburgh. On the 2nd of August we've got our tech rehearsal. And then on the 3rd of August, first preview. The world premiere is on the 4th of August, and then we are running till the 14th of August. I don't know whether we are going to do more performances. For the time being, we are finishing on the 14th. I don't know, someone said that maybe, you can do longer, but I have no idea how that all works. We're also going to do 3 performances of the Polish version of the play, and that's going to be on the 4th, 11th and 14th of August. And also we are going to do 1 side performance, and I think that's going to be on the 12th of August. I'm just going to double check that. No, I'm wrong. It's going to be on the 9th of August. The side performance is going to be on the 9th of August. And also, I am in conversation with a few BSL interpreters that could help us. All the press and all the social media is done. I am now focusing on Polish media here in the UK, and also potentially contacting certain media outlets in Poland. So this is now what I'm doing, and also have just prepared a Polish press release, and that will be sent to places in Scotland, and also posting certain information on various Facebook groups, Polish Facebook groups. And that's all really. We're also hoping to have our first Zoom production meeting next week, so let's see what happens, just to talk about all logistics. And yeah, slowly preparing for the Fringe. I may even start, memorizing or refreshing the text soon, because I actually kind of feel very, very excited about the whole thing. But we'll see what happens. When the next episode is going to come, podcast, I have no idea. Hopefully soon, maybe I will do one before we go to Edinburgh. I don't know, I can't promise anything. But as I was saying, all the updates info is on Intruder Play social media channels, so you can check all the latest what's happening there. And that's really it. Thank you so very much for listening, and yeah, stay well, stay safe, and hopefully I'll see some of you in Edinburgh. Bye for now.